Bad News Brown breaking it down. Now, before I get started, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and support the channel. So now, today I'm going to speak about the Nottoway Plantation that burnt down. And right on for that. Now, of course, there is a lot of talk regarding that, and a lot of people is rejoiceful, rightfully so, that plantation burnt down. So I want to point out a few things moving forward. Well, for one, it's a good thing it burned down, regardless to whom, what, or how. It's a good thing it burnt down, being the whole spiritual, symbolic visual of it burning. So that's a good thing. And a lot more need to burn down. But more importantly, people still need to be held accountable for those travesties of the past. And this is one of the things I'm going to continue to point out. Well, for one, I'm pro reparations. So, and I made a video about this prior regarding the Confederate statues being removed. Now, although we ain't with y'all commemorate and hold high y'all Confederate soldiers and these plantation owners, none of that of the past, we also don't want y'all to sweep it under the rug. And this is one of the concerns I have when we see the removal of the Confederate statues and such. Now, in the case of this plantation burning, right on. I don't give a damn. Burn it. Because I'm sure they turned it into a tourist spot. Last I heard, it was, you can rent rooms in it. So, and I bet you still had people renting them rooms for various nefarious spiritual reasons and improper reasons, I'm going to put it like that. So, burn it down. But as I was mentioning, we're not just going to let y'all sweep this under the rug, because I'm pro reparations. So eventually an audit needs to take place, a grand audit as I'll call it, and we need to know who did what. Therefore, when the allocation of resources take place, it goes to the right, well, for one, it gets took from the right people and gets put in the right people's possession when it comes to lineage and everything. And this is proof. Basically, a lot of those statues and stuff is proof that it happened. So don't try to sweep it under the rug, especially when we still feeling the effects of slavery and racism. We're not just going to act like it didn't happen. So yeah, we need proof in terms of the auditing. Now, like I said, not y'all holding high and commemorate certain characters. Hell no. But also, though, we definitely need proof, and a lot of that is proof. Therefore, again, when that reparations is due, okay, we know exactly where we can, because already we can trace your lineage through your last name. So, plantations like that is proof. It's basically proof. Those are the books. Those are the ledgers. You know, and I got ties to the state of Louisiana, so it's safe to say, and that was the largest plantation that was still intact of today. So I'm sure once upon a time I've been through there, so I got personal reasons to see that burn, and I also got personal reasons to get my reparations. And another thing I want to point out is, because I hear a lot of talk that there was no slave trade, which is nonsense. It's too much physical evidence, overwhelming physical evidence to support chattel slavery that it happened. Not only in North America, but in South America. It was more Africans imported to South America than it was up here. So what is y'all talking about? All that really stems from y'all just want to be less African, because y'all being conditioned and brainwashed to think African is less than, so y'all don't want nothing to do with being African. And it all goes back to that. That's really what it is. Even people that claim they so-called woke You don't want to be African, but you all the way woke. When it already didn't prove that all humanity come from right there. Now, certainly, there were indigenous people of a darker hue here, and they originally originate from Africa as well. See, the Olmecs, and I'm speaking of the Mississippi Temple Mound Builders and other indigenous Native American tribes, because I hear talk that the Mississippi was the Nile. Well, no, it definitely served the same purpose. All rivers will serve the same purpose when it comes to nourishing the surrounding land and feeding and providing for the people that live around that said river. But to go as far as to say it's the actual Nile and all this is, nah. Now, definitely there's been some wool pulled over our eyes and some lies has been told about who did what and what happened to whom. But again, to say it was no chattel slavery, nah, that's bullshit. And the burning of this plantation proves it. That's physical evidence right there. You don't gotta believe it. You don't gotta have faith in it. It burnt right before your eyes. It's burning. Look at it. You see it's burning? Yeah, that was a plantation. You understand? So, and that's for all them people who feel that this never took place. And again, that all ties into trying to sweep things under the rug. So that's any drawback. And again, not on this plantation, but as far as the removal of these Confederate statues. And they didn't name their schools, all these names, most of the names. If you really study these names, they come from something. And that's another thing y'all got to start doing. Start looking into stuff. Start researching the word, the etymology of these words. Seriously. We know also ain't with y'all holding certain people and events in high esteem. But at the same time, again, y'all not going to sweep it under the rug. And a lot of these statues and even certain holidays, if the truth be told, is evidence of what happened to us. And that's proof when it comes to reparations and just due. You understand? So think about all that. And I'm not really, again, I'm not, how should I say, I'm not speaking ill or against that plantation burning. I definitely don't want you to take that from this video, because that definitely ain't what I'm saying. I'm just pointing out that grand auditing, and we still need to keep that proof, that paperwork. You understand? When it comes to knowing who did what and who to excruciate resources from and who to pay and penalize the proper people. You understand? Just do. And it's that simple. But regardless, all in all, specifically regarding this whole plantation, burn it. And I'm glad it burnt, and that should be the first of many. You understand? Now, a question I would want to know is also who burnt it? Well, who owned it? And how did it catch a fire? Was it purposely burnt or some insurance play? Or did it naturally burn, so to speak? And I've seen videos of people, with the AI adding a lot of spiritual and symbolic isms with it. And certainly, because it definitely is. You understand? The unseen, especially even more important, than it goes back to just us, so-called African American or black or whatever. Ain't nobody been through what we've been through, y'all. Seriously. No other group has been through what we've been through. Every other group can go back to their native tongue, their native language. They know their story. Our story is a little bit different now. Now, it didn't start with slavery, because that's one of the things they got you thinking. Oh, you was nothing but a slave. This is why you want to destroy how you look. You want to be everything but who you are. But nah, it was a lot more to it than that. History is a lot more than slave trade. But that's definitely something you've been through and you overcame. And the struggle, the fight still continues, obviously. But it's the obvious spiritual symbolism behind that. It goes back to that movie of Sinners, the power of the drum, man, the music, man, the African people, man, where you came from. So it won't nothing work for you until you start readopting that. You understand? Be who you are. Don't go against nature. Yeah? It's like a dog trying to be a cat. What Carlos would say? You know, are you trying to fit a square building block in a triangle? It ain't gonna work. No matter how much you force it, it ain't gonna work. So, it's probably why a lot of your prayers it's not being answered. But who am I though, man? It's Bad News Brown breaking it down, man. Yeah, man, right on for the plantation burning down. And that should be the one of many. And yeah, no more glory. Chattel slavery is over with. Although it's definitely racism ain't over with. And there's, the battle continues